श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् सुमुखश्च एकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः सूत्रकर्णो हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये यत्तत्परदवक्त्राद्याः पारिषद्याः परस्पतं विघ्नं विघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णाय अक्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वभूतहिते रतम् वेदार्थभास्करं वन्दे समाधिनिलयं मुनिम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. With Swami's grace, let us continue from where we left off yesterday. Now Brahma is describing our conception. It's not necessarily the actual form of Purusha, because Purusha is formless. And remember again, we need to conceive of him in a form that we can relate to, right? Because we are human beings, we tend to relate him as another, in the form of another human being, but extraordinary and a superior and a super power form of human beings, right? That's how we can relate to him. I cannot relate to him as a tree, for example, or as a distant star or a speck of sand. Now, in that sense, now Brahma is describing the conception, the imagination, in a way that we can relate to of this cosmic Purusha, and couple of those things have been described already. Now, on a personal basis, each one of the experiences that we go through, instead of thinking, I am seeing, okay, we can immediately say, this is Bhagavan's face from the Agni, from Bhagavan's face. That actually gives me not only the power of vision, as well as the deity, the Deva that is presiding over vision. Like that, when we touch something and feel something, it's actually Bhagavan's skin. Like that is the way that Brahma is describing it. And we came up to Slokam number 6. And now in number 7, let me first read the next few Slokams, the meanings in English, and so that when we can take up Sanskrit, it will be easier for you to follow. Now the most important thing is, the Bhagavan in his Trivikrama Avatara form, and put the first step, the so-called the Padam, is now full of Bhurlokam and the Bhuvarlokam, which includes the subtler planetary planes of existence. That includes Satyalokam also, is another Padam. There, the third one was Swargalokam. That's the way the Brahma is describing this. The last tongue that we left with yesterday was that Kshemasya Saranasya Cha. Kshemasya Saranasya Cha. When you
Mr. Krishnaswami, I'm sorry to interrupt. The audio is very low today. I'm not sure why.
I don't know why, Ma. I think it's my side, it's in place. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Sorry to bother.
Can you hear me better now?
A little better, yes.
Little better, but not audible enough?
No, konja panala.
I can't do anything on my side. I've got...
okay. Then this is better than before. Thank you so much.
Okay. So can you hear me now better? Is it better?
Yes, much better.
Much better, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, Kshemasya Saranasya Cha. The call is, you surrender to him for your Kshemam. Kshemam is all the well-being and the protection, and the security and the safety and the sense of comfort and bliss. It's like being home. That Kshemam comes only when Saranasya Cha, that Purushottama, is cosmic form when you surrender to him. That's where we came up to yesterday. Now moving on to Slokam 7, what he says in Slokam 7, and all the way up to probably he will go up to Slokam 10 today, 10 or 11. And so let me cover what the next few Slokams talk about. Why should we surrender to him? Because the Bhagavan's feet, when we saw Kamalapadangal and Tavapada Charanam and all this, it is not just a physical feet of Bhagavan, but it's when we look for Bhagavan's feet, it is not only in the temple or in the picture that we keep in the puja room, but it is every little entity, every happening and non-happening in this prapancham, in this cosmos that we live in. Think of it that way, including the stars and everything, every human being that we come across is a form of Bhagavan's lotus feet. So if I surrender to him, if I worship him and revere him, automatically he will respond like that, because that's the truth. That's where Bhagavan's saying everything. There's no exception to that. It's in the plane where we are living right now. It's a very important point to remember. And the Bhagavan's feet gives liberation, refuge, fulfills all desires of everyone, whatever we want. Whatever we want. See, look at another important thing. Why do we say it is a padam? Because whatever we desire, that is happening, isn't it? Sometimes it happens at the same moment, and sometimes it takes a few years, and we think we have achieved something. We work towards a goal, we achieve it, and sometimes it takes another birth or a few more births, right? And the different gradations and different points in time, things do take place. So that itself says this Bhagavan's Kamalapadam, the lotus feet that is present in the form of our universe, which we can relate to, he also grants all that we ask for, grants all sarva kamasya. It grants all that we ask for. This is what Slokam 7 talks about. Okay? And for the lines on that are sarva kamaha varasya api arehe charana aspadam. Okay? Let me take that particular section so that you understood. That's where the meaning what I just gave you is there. Sarva kama, all desires. Varasya api. When we say Bhagavan Varan, you give me Varan Koduthatar, we say in Tamil. This Varan is a beautiful word. It does not mean a desire getting fulfilled. Varan means that is greater than the greatest, supreme, more supreme than the supreme. In Gayatri Japam, we say, Tat Savitur Varenyam. So that Varan is what we are talking of. Sri Rama Rama Raviti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. That is how Shiva addresses Parvati. Varanani, the most supreme one, is what he calls her. So this word Varan, Bhagavan gives us whatever we ask for. This Bhulokam is Bhagavan's padam only. Bhagavan's padam only. So it grants, and when I surrender to it, and here surrender means what? Even though I've got ahamkaram, I do surrender to everything in this world, because when I want to achieve something, I want to achieve it only here, right? So it grants whatever I desire. And so that one day I get tired of desiring and asking, and then really desire whatever it wants to give me. That's why it is called Varan. That is the supreme force that is in play. Okay? Sarva kama varasya api harehe charana aspadam. Aspadam means shelter, refuge. Now, going on, now the another thing that happens in this world that we are all familiar with, we are also reproducing, right? We call it progeny, procreation, whatever we call. When somebody has a child and we get a son or a daughter or a grandson, granddaughter, it doesn't really matter. We think we have achieved something, isn't it? There's a sense of an achievement, a sense of fulfillment, there's a sense of joy, pleasure, so many things out there. But when you really look at it, that's a natural force. It is not something that I did, okay? And it happens because that is the purpose of the whole creation, the svabhavam that we talked about at the beginning, isn't it? So the idea is to make many, many forms, many objects, right? And varieties of objects. So that is why the urge as well as the success, the fulfillment of procreation and progeny is a natural supreme force. But where is Bhagavan present in this cosmic Purusha? For that, Slokam 8 talks about it. It says, this generative system is Bhagavan generative system. That is a seat of the water, as well as the male hormone, the semen, and the creation, as well as the rain cloud. Where does the rain cloud come from? Scientifically, we know. It starts all in Pacific Ocean, and then because of sunrise and all that. But the process behind it, scientifically, we explain what's happening. But what is the essence? Why is it happening? It forms a rain cloud. That is all Bhagavan, the water and the semen. That part of Bhagavan semen is what it says. Then it also talks about the natural urge to procreate has a certain sense of pleasure associated with it. And that is, it says it's coming from, that is Bhagavan's genitals, which is placed in the genital area, and that in order to beget, procreate, right, to make other human beings, and that in order to do that, it also gives pleasure, and that is the cause for this. So this is where this Paramapurusha is invisibly present in our life. That is Slokam number 8. Now, when we go to Slokam 9, okay, then another thing that we do is in our daily life, we eat food. Then at the same time, we also do excretion. We get rid of the food that has not been digested in whatever form it is. And so, what Brahma now talks about is the way the process of, this is one of the karmendriyas, as we know, right? And because the excretion is very important to getting the food that has not been digested out of the body is so vital. Otherwise, what happens, right? So that evacuating outlet, that is Payuhu, it says, that is the Bhagavan's, the universal form of, now we can, in our body, we know what it is. But in the cosmic form that we are imagining in a human form and assigning it to Bhagavan, now Brahma says that evacuating outlet of the universal form, the cosmic Purusha, is actually the place, the controlling, is a place where Yama, the controlling deity of death, resides, and also Mitra resides there. And the evacuating hole and the rectum of Bhagavan's, the form that we have imagined, is the place of envy, misfortune, death, hell, etc. Okay, so that means all these things have to be evacuated. They are not retained in the cosmic form. Misery, death, all these places of envy, we should not be envious. It has to be evacuated out. And the misfortune, they will be evacuated out in the Lotus Feet of the Lord. And death also will cease to exist at some point in time for each one of us. And hell, all of us want to get rid of hell, isn't it? Misfortune and sadness and misery and all that. And though the evacuating whole of Bhagavan is conceived, of the universal form of Bhagavan is conceived as the place of envy, misfortune, hell, and death. Now going to Slokam number 10. Then we also have in life frustrations, right? All of us have frustrations. And we all, I don't know about you, but I can tell you myself, yes, definitely there are times when I behave immorally. So we have this sense of immorality. And I'm also ignorant. I don't know. In the truth of the matter, I really do not know. I may claim I know something. I may talk as if I know something that I'm talking about. But if I, just for a fraction of a second, I stop and then reflect on what I'm thinking or what I'm saying or what I'm observing or what I'm imagining, the truth is I really do not know. So that ignorance that I have, and all these, my frustrations, my sense of immorality, and my ignorance, these are all something I experience in my life. So what is Bhagavan, the cosmic Purusha, has to do with it, sir? These are the back of the cosmic Purusha that we have conceived in the human form. Now, the other thing is also we are in Slokam number 10, right? Okay. Then there are blood vessels are there in our human body. So then we can say Bhagavan's human form that I have conceived also has got blood vessels. Those blood vessels are they appear or the origin or the place of where we see rivers, great rivers, rivulets, etc. And also the bones that we have in our body. Same way, the bones in the cosmic form are the place for mountains and rocks and stones and all that. Then the intestines, we also have intestines in our body. So Bhagavan's intestines form the what we call there are in matters around, if you look at it, there are certain discrete forms, right? That we can say this is a piece of rock and this is a piece of a leaf or a branch or a tree or a human being. These are all discrete forms. But then in creation, there are also indiscrete forms, right? See, a rock is very distinct. But then when you go to a mud, for example, it is not very, very discrete. That's indiscrete. There are things that are kind of continuous, joined together. They don't have a discrete shape or form. And those they also formed on the intestine. The Bhagavan, one second, let me get the Slokam right here so I can redo the Sanskrit Slokam for that and verify that what I'm saying is indeed correct, or at least what I think it is correct from what Bhagavan says. So we covered the frustrations and all that. We covered Bhagavan's bones, and next Slokam is Slokam number 10. The indiscrete the essence of various substances that we see, whether it could be sea or oceans or water, and those kind of a thing, or when you look at, this is the Rasovesaha, the something that is spread all through, but it is not separate or discrete. And that shows the essence of where what we call as avyakta, something that is beyond imagination, beyond the ability to conceive. So with that brief introduction, let us go back to Slokam number 7 or 8 where we were. So let's check the number. So we have to look at, we came up in Slokam 7, or it could be Slokam 8 in your book, in that area. Sarva Kama Varasya Api Harehe Sharana Aspadam. That we covered. Aspadam means shelter, refuge, right? All our desires, where do they take shelter? All my desires don't take shelter in me. I give them, I work. Yes, I do work, but I surrender to the Bhudevi, which is Bhagavan's Lotus Feet. And there are things that I desire and imagine, I want this, I want that. We go and surrender to our imagined form of Bhagavan. Where does he give it from? He give it to us only from this Bholokam, which is the form of Bhagavan's Lotus Feet. So, Sarva Kama Varasya Api Harehe Sharanam. Harehe Sharanam Aspadam. Hari means one who destroys the ignorance. Hari, Haraha, they are all mean the same thing, no difference. No difference between Saivites and Vaishnavites, okay? One who destroys ignorance by granting all my desires, so I will realize that whatever I'm desiring is actually worthless. Then I stop desiring, then he gives me what he has come to give. Now then next Slokam is Slokam number 8 or 9, whichever it is in your book. That is, Apam Viryasya Sargasya Parjanyasya Prajapatehe Umtaha Krishna Upastaha Tu Prajati Ananda Nipratehe. That is Slokam number 7 in my book, but it could be 8 in your book. Apam Viryasya Sargasya Parjanyasya Prajapatehe Pumsaha Svikna Upastaha Tu Prajati Ananda Nirpritehe. Apam, water, Bhagavan, water. Viryasya, Viryam here means the what we call as in our language, in scientific language, as semen. Sargasya for reproducing, for regenerating the beget. Parjanyasya, also the rain that we see. Prajapatehe Viryasya. The Bhagavan, the cosmic Purusha that he is describing, the semen of M appears as water, is the origin, is place for the water that we see here. Also the procreating actions that take place. Also, it's also the origin for, or appears as the rain that we have. And then Pumsaha Svikna Upastaha Tu Prajati Ananda Nirpratehe. Pumsaha, the is the Bhagavan. Pumsaha means Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. Krishnaha Upastaha Tu, that is the genitals of and the place where the genitals are located. And Prajati Ananda Nirvatehe, that the genitals are given the main function is not only to get rid of the water form which we call as urination, but the main function they are given is for procreation. That's why it's such a natural urge that everyone has. And the procreation part of it, Upastaha to Prajati, for that purpose it is given. That process of procreation is Ananda Nirvrutehe. That gives very great pleasure. This is Bhagavan, the cosmic form, the genitals of Bhagavan, that is where this is situated. Again, figuratively speaking. Now going to Slokam number 8. Vayuhu Yamasya Mitrasya Parimokshasya Narada Himsaya Narada Himsayaha Nirvatehe Mrityoho Nirayasya Gudaha Smrutaha. So it is understood. So it is conceived. What is conceived? Vayuhu Yamasya Mitrasya Parimokshasya. Narada, Vayuhu. The Vayuhu means the evacuating outlet of the Pumsaha, combined with the previous Slokam, by the cosmic form, Purusha that we are imagining in a human way, the evacuating hole, Vayuhu. Yamasya Mitrasya Parimokshasya. Yamasya, that's the place where the god of death is residing. Mitra is residing there. Parimokshasya. And Parimokshasya is the actual evacuating hole. And Himsayaha, the Bhagavan's evacuating hole, what does it evacuate? What does it get rid of? It gets rid of Himsayaha, envy, hatred, harming others. That tendency will be gotten rid of. It's not in this birth for us. It will happen because that is the form of cosmic Purusha. It will happen to each one of us. Okay, by itself, the tendency to harm and envy and jealousy and all that will be gotten rid of, will be evacuated through the evacuating outlet of the cosmic Purusha. And Nirvrutehe, the various misfortunes we have, various asubham, as we call it, all those will be evacuated. Mrityoho, our death also will be evacuated. We will become deathless. It's going to happen. And that, when the cosmic Purusha evacuating death means cosmic Purusha is deathless. No death for him. Because no birth. And Nirayasya means hell. Hell means a place of suffering, misfortune, difficulty, sadness. And all these are completely evacuated. They are absent because the cosmic Purusha is only bliss, a form of bliss only, Anandam only. Where how can hell be present there? So that is coming through Gudam. Gudaha is the rectum of Bhagavan. So it is conceived. Is that the Slokam says. Vayuhu Yasya Mitrasya Parimokshasya Narada Himsayaha Nirvrutehe Mrityoho Nirayasya Gudaha Smrutaha. Now, next Slokam is number 9. In my book, it is number 9. And that talks about Parabhutehe Adharmasya Tamasah cha api paschimah Nadhyo Nada Nadinam tu Gotranam Asti Samhatihi Parabhutehe Adharmasya Tamasah cha api paschimah Nadhyo Nada Nadinam tu Gotranam Asti Samhatihi. Now, Parabhutehe, the various frustrations, Adharmasya, all are acts of immorality, and Tamasaha, ignorance, they are all Paschimaha, the cosmic form, it is the back of Bhagavan. You see, this is how we can picture ourselves. They are all back, they are all behind, they are not in the forward, they are all in the back. But Bhagavan is present in that also, in that form, you must understand. Nadhyaha means the intestine. Okay? Or you can also consider them as a blood vessel. And they are Nada Nadinam. Nada means the great river, Nadinam, the small river. The Nadinam is the rivulet. Nada Nadinam too. And Gotranam Asti Samhatihi. Bhagavan Asti means bones. Bhagavan, the cosmic Purusha's bones, are the residence place for the various mountains and the stones and all that we see. And Samhatihi, this is how they are accumulated. So number 9, Parabhutehe Adharmasya Tamasah cha api paschimah Nadhyo Nada Nadinam tu Gotranam Asti Samhatihi. Now number 10, Avyaktaha. Avyaktaha means something that is beyond the ability to conceive or cognize. Avyaktaha Rasa Sindhuna. Avyaktaha Rasa Sindhuna Bhutanam Nidhanasya cha Udaram Viditam Pumsaha Hridayam Manasaha Padam. Avyakta Rasa Sindhunam Bhutanam Nidhanasya cha Udaram Viditam Pumsaha Hridayam Manasaha Padam. Padam means the place where it is present. What is present now? Avyaktaha, something beyond the ability to conceive. When we say Raso Vai Saha, the essence in everything is Bhagavan. I can't conceive it. I can't imagine it even. It's beyond my imagination. I can't picture it in any way. Right? I can only experience it. Right? It is beyond the ability of mind. So that is why it's Avyaktaha. Rasa Sindhuna. Now, the essence of the Sindhuna means the oceans and the rivers. And Bhutana, all the beings that take birth in this prapanjam, all the beings, right from an earthworm to a human being. Okay? Nidhanasya, not only Bhutanam they take birth, Nidhanasya, they also disappear, what we call as they get annihilated. They disappear, the bodies disappear, right? Then Udaram, so all the beings that appear and disappear in this prapanjam are that Bhagavan, Pumsaha, Bhagavan, Udaram. It is his belly. That's the way it is pictured. Viditam, this is how people who are understand, conceive of this way, but by the wise people, by the wise and the elderly. Pumsaha, of this great Bhagavan, Purushan. Now, his Pumsaha Hridayam. Where is Bhagavan Hridayam, heart? We talked about several aspects and several parts of the cosmic form, right from hands and feet to belly to feet and everything else. Now, and chest and all that. Now, where is his heart? Heartaha is lies in the Manasaha of the very subtle body in this place. So, Rasa Sindhunam Manasaha Hridayam, very important. And all the beings, Bhutana, Nidhanasya, the people who are born and people who will die, they are all Pumsaha Udaram in Bhagavan's belly. Now, Rasa Sindhunam, this essence that is present everywhere in the rivers and the seas and also the beings that are born and that disappear, that rasam is avyaktaha. It is beyond my ability to even imagine, conceive, even think of, right? I can't picture it at all, right? It has to be experienced. That's why it's avyaktam. And that is what all these intelligent people say. So, no, same way that rasaha is the hridayam, Bhagavan's hridayam, the pumsaha hridayam, the daya, the place where prema, the daya, is firmly established, the place of the fountain, the ocean of love. That is what hridayam is. That is manasaha avyaktaha. Even not only beyond the ability of the mind to conceive. Okay, and this rasa sindhunam, where is it present? It is present everywhere, yes, but where is it actually present? Padam, what is its place? Place is pumsaha hridayam. The essence of everything that's been described so far, which is beyond the ability of the mind to conceive, to imagine, to picture, right? That essence is present in Bhagavan Hridayam. That means the Pumsaha is present in Hridayam. Wherever prema is to be found, wherever prema is always firmly established. When that love is experienced, that is where the essence of this Parama Purusha is. That is what the Slokam says. So, Avyaktaha rasasindhunam bhutanam vidhanasya cha udaram vidikam pumsaha hridayam manasaha padam. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavanto. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavanto. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavanto. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.